This is I Should Be Writing number 500. It was June 22nd when I recorded this, and I did it via live Crowdcast on video. So I have all of the audio in full here, unedited, and it was just me chatting with people. I'm trying to do more Crowdcasts more regularly. For right now, everybody, it will soon become a Patreon exclusive, but the world is so terrible right now, I figured, why put up another wall? So, check it out if you like what you hear. Maybe you'll enjoy watching the video next time. Check out Murverse.com to see when the next Crowdcast will be, or follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/MightyMur.
But I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.
Hello, everybody. It is I Should Be Writing number 500. We're in a pandemic. We're having racial tension across the world. I've had a migraine for 5 days, and it's so exciting. 500 barrels on anyway. I am here in my backyard. We're coming to you live. I have my trusty assistant / artist beside me. Just Fiona here is here to sketch or keep me honest or field questions or whatever. Hey, Ansela, did I say that right? I hope I did. But thank you guys for coming and tuning in and everything. It is lovely to see people. I'm a little flustered because, of course, I got caught up in Twitter today. Not even the bad stuff. Somebody was saying, talk about writers who had done you, been kind to you for no other reason than to be kind. Hey, Todd. And it got me thinking, and I got all nostalgic and figured I should be writing number 500 with some of those people. The first, of course, is James Patrick Kelly, who contacted me about I Should Be Writing in 2005, I think, saying it was a good podcast and he was really impressed with what I was doing, and that was just mind-blowing because I knew who he was. And from then on, he encouraged me to go to Viable Paradise and then Stone Coast, and he's just always been very, very supportive of everything I've done. The other people at Viable Paradise, Teresa Nielsen Hayden, Patrick Nielsen Hayden, Cory Doctorow, and Stephen Gould were also instrumental. And yes, I was paying them to be at the workshop, but you know, you can get a sense of who is paying attention to you because it's their job, and who's paying attention to you because they see something or they want to. And I was lucky enough to get a lot of encouragement from them. And this is more of a podcasting thing, but in like, hey, Christiana, yay, Christiana's here. And thank you, Hugh and Bren. In 2000, I want to say 6 or 7, I was at Balticon and I interviewed Neil Gaiman, and he'd come straight from a con in Australia, and he was completely jet lagged. I mean, he went from Australia to Baltimore to the con, and then they sat him down and put him in front of a whole bunch of interviews. And I interviewed him and tried not to tax him too much. And then several years later, 2 or 3 years later, I went to Worldcon in Montreal, and I tried to set up an appointment with a interview with him there. And he said, first they said that he didn't have time, and then they said he would make time for me. And it turns out he remembered me and the interview that we did when he was severely jet lagged. And that was not really a writing ego boo, but a podcasting ego boo that I had at least made some sort of impression on him. And I think that's kind of what I try to do with this show, because you never know when somebody's comment to you is going to make a big impact. You never know. And so I'm hoping that things I do or say on this show can help out other people, whether it's directly at you or not. We have 6 people now. 6 people. Yeah. So I figured I would do sort of a Ask Me Anything right now. As I said, I've been dealing with a migraine for about 5 days now, off and on. So I did not promote or plan this as much as I had wanted to. It's been a bad couple of days. I've watched a lot of Schitt's Creek, which is apparently my comfort food right now. And no, I'm not swearing on this clean podcast. That's the name of the show.
It's with 2 T's.
It's with a C and 2 T's, yes. Hey, Alex, thank you. But, so first question, I guess, to you guys is, are you writing right now? Because it's very hard. Was talking to some friends, and more than one person was talking about how, like, different things are coming to a head, either personally or professionally, but there's like strife in their life. And my theory is, at least right here, we've been in quarantine lockdown about 100 days. I've been keeping track. And I think it's like a 3-month mark or 100-day mark is when people look at their lives and think, okay, I've survived this for 3 months. Now either this needs to stop, or am I going to have to accept this as my life? And I think that's why a lot of people are going through stuff right now. I'm dealing with I think all of my stuff's just manifesting in stress migraines, my theory. But I tried to get writing done last week. I got a good bit. I kind of got on a good system and then started feeling like crap again. But is anybody else writing? Is anybody else getting anything done? Share with me. Let me know, because I'm curious. It's very difficult right now to be creative, and they keep actually. I think it's slowed down. The people telling us, "Oh, you can do, you can follow all those creative things you wanted to follow because now you have all that time you said you never had." And I think it went unsaid that when we say we want more time to write, what we mean is we want more time to write when we're not completely and utterly stressed out. Christiana's been running RPGs. Actually, that sounds good, because you're being creative and social, and both of those things are really difficult to do now. So that's actually pretty smart, Christiana. Bren threw down 600 on a new story last night, character exploration. That's pretty cool. New stuff is always exciting. And yes, RPGs offer the more immediate gratification. I agree with that. Fiona, do you agree? Yeah. Fiona's been running an RPG for her friends and doing a lot of creative work there. Jamie says doing a workshop to write an RPG adventure in July. That's exciting. Can you tell me more about the workshop? I'm curious. But yeah, the whole creative thing is it's really tough right now. And while there are deadlines hanging over me, it's still, everyone just seems kind of accepting of excuses of, I can't brain right now because the world's on fire, or my head's about to crack open and Athena's about to be born. Wow, Hugh's been keeping up with a project to write a drabble every day. Wow, Hugh, every day. That's impressive. Okay, rpgwriterworkshop.com is what Jamie says. So if you're interested in running your own RPG and want some help with that, that's a link to check out. That's pretty cool. Did you get that down? Oh, okay.
What is it?
No, I thought you'd be interested in it. You don't have to take notes. rpgwriterworkshop.com. But yeah, we're in the weird dichotomy of it's summer and it's hot and it's you think it's time to take off the mask and have your vacations, and everything is still happening. And I see other people and wish that I had the luxury of saying it's not happening anymore. Summer's here. Nothing bad happens during summer, right? But no. Grant's here. Hey, Grant. Grant, also somebody who's supported me just for no other reason than to be awesome since, 2006, Grant? Is that right? As a puppeteer, I have a lot of downtime between pro gigs, but I have actually weirdly been busier during this quarantine time producing videos than ever before. I'm about to throw a chair through a window. I'm sorry. Yeah, since Geek Fu Action Grip. I'm sorry about the chair through the window, dude. It's, yeah, chair through the window. The one good thing about the migraines is really the fussy dog is fussing. I don't know why. Just, well, he could go inside where it's not hot, but he would cry to get out. Yes. Sorry. Yes, the fun dichotomy of the migraines is it a lot of people say they're drinking more during quarantine, and I can't because of the migraines. So I suppose that's one good thing, right? I don't know. But yeah, I continue to try to do stuff. I wrote probably when I should have been working on my book, I wrote a treatment for a virtual race. If you hadn't heard, it's more been promoted on the Escape Pod side of things, but Alistair Stewart and I co-wrote a virtual race for Six to Start, the people who do Zombies Run, and we that'll be out, I think, in August, and I'm really excited about it. But they're open to more projects, and I put together a treatment for another virtual race for them, and I hope they go for it. So, because what you should do when you have a book that's late is write treatments for new projects. Kind of. I don't know. So I'm going to ask Grant a question. How are you handling? Is it hard to do the creative stuff on the video side? Because I've been wanting to do more video. That's what the Crowdcast is trying to force myself to do, actually. I got an idea for some videos weeks ago, and I still haven't filmed them yet. I haven't put a tripod in the dining room because that's where I wanted to film, and then we had to move the tripod to play a game last night, so that didn't actually happen. So here's a question for you creators. If you move between mediums, how? Really? The other dog is deciding to roll around the rose garden and is destroying all the roses and the bricks around the rose garden. Uh-oh. Yeah, sorry. I know you guys really want the play-by-play here. By the way, Christiana, if you ever visit again, you need to meet our relatively new dog. You haven't met her. She's a hoot. Source of a lot of stress, but a hoot. But doggos are good. Yes. If you like corgis, you need to look at Christiana's various feeds, because her new corgi, is it new? God, I don't know. Passage of time is nothing these days, but I believe there have been 7 months old. Rocket is 7 months old. 7-month-old corgi is always fun to watch. And Alex has a 6-month-old puppy. I'm not sure the mosquitoes are going to burrow through the fur. That's why they like us.
That's why I wanted to kill it.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so husky golden. Nice. But yeah, if you have any advice on switching between mediums, I would love to have it, because I'm just still, trying to do the basic self-care thing of make sure I drink enough water. And it's hard sometimes, because I'm trying to do the habit stacking thing of every morning do this one thing, and then after I'm used to doing that, stack one more thing on top of it. It's not going great. But I did talk about the bullet journal last week, and until I had all of my plans completely shattered by just feeling like crap all the time, I did have been working on the bullet journal. Discovered there are a couple of writers who approach the bullet journal thing from the writing point of view, which is really helpful, because there are too many people who have like short-term projects and like to draw. And I can't identify with either of those things when my project is, write 1,000 words till the book is done. And that'll take months. And the to-do today is the same as yesterday, which is write the damn book. And, but Tobias Buckell had a really good blog post about how he approaches the bullet journaling method. So that was helpful. Does anybody have any questions for me? The whole AMA thing, as the cool kids say. Am I allowed to quote the cool kids?
Somewhat.
How do I know when is somewhat? When is a good time to quote the cool kids? Can I say yeet?
No.
I can't say yeet. I'm not allowed. Oh, thank you. I'm a cool kid in Brent's book. Yeah. I can't say yeet.
And yet you continue to say it.
Yes, because you get that look on your face. Yes. Yes, I'm very proud of the fact that we have not killed each other in 100 days of lockdown. Yes. And she's thinking of all the time she wanted to. You can tell. If I read anything cool lately, let's see. I'm reading, I just started a new mystery thriller called, I think it's new, The Guest List. Let me see who wrote that. By Lucy Foley, The Guest List. I'm listening to that right now. I read, a couple of months ago, I read The Silent Patient, which won Goodreads Choice Awards, Reader's Choice Awards last year for mystery, and that was pretty interesting. Without giving too much away, it was one of those, when you read usually a mystery or when something has to remain a mystery in the story, the author's going to throw out hints, and you have to decide as a reader whether that's really a hint or that's just them being sloppy. And I wish I could tell you what I'm specifically referring to in The Silent Patient, but certain things would happen, and I would think, it seems like this doesn't seem fully right, because if X had happened, then Y would have happened, and Y didn't happen, and I'm confused. And I thought the writer was being just sloppy. And then when the reveal came, I realized it was all in there the whole time, and it was very well orchestrated. And I like to learn about stuff like that. When I had my absolute horrendous nightmare of a guest of honor gig at Albacon several years ago, I was reading from the recently sold Six Wakes. And in the first scene of that, there's a character who is, when all the clones come out of their vats, they're hundreds of years old. They've been cloned many times. The concept of shame of nudity is gone from their heads. You know, like when you get to reach a certain age, you have no F's left to give. So my theory was you just keep being reincarnated and you keep waking up in a vat and you're completely nude. I mean, you're just gonna get over those issues we have with nakedness. And one person was very, very uncomfortable and shy. And during the horrendous reading of Six Wakes, one person's like, and I don't buy that he would be like that. Why would he be like that? And I'm thinking, why would he be like that? You think maybe I did that on purpose? You think maybe that's a clue to his personality and his situation? And the whole reading was like that. It was all a critique. And the guy frankly said he was surprised that Six Wakes had sold. And I saw him when I attended the Nebulas a couple of years later, and when Six Wakes was up for the Nebula. And I am not the kind of person to rub that in anyone's face or be rude or, yeah, Todd, you can visualize this person. Todd knows who I'm talking about. But I just saw him and I'm just thinking, you know, part of it was like anger, but part of it was vindication. But I'm getting way off topic here. That was a very bad guest of honor situation that scarred me and changed all of my rules for live readings now. For sure. Which sucks, because I'd like to just show up and do a reading, but it's not that easy anymore.
What are your rules for live reading?
What are my rules for live readings? Well, first, I want to have... I'm a people pleaser. I don't like it, but there it is. And so if somebody asks me an unexpected question in the middle of a live reading, I'm going to be flustered, and I'm probably going to answer it. So I try to have a ringer in the audience to back me up if someone asks something incredibly inappropriate, such as, will you take... Do you want to critique on this? Which, frankly, I was just... Are you kidding? Okay, I'm a professional author doing a live reading in front of an audience. Sure, critique my stuff. Also with Six Wakes, there was another reading where a guy just wanted to give me all of his opinions, tracked me down after the reading to give me more opinions, and then wrote me after the con to give me yet another opinion. That person is in my kill file, and if he ever sends me email again, it will just go straight into my trash. I don't even remember his name, but I know he's kill filed. Yeah, that's my main thing, which is I'll take questions about it, but I won't take critiques. I need to have somebody with a stronger personality than mine in the audience to help me stop people from asking inappropriate things. These poor men needing to have their opinions heard so badly that they harass people. Yes, indeed. That was the case. But yeah, I need to have somebody I know and trust in the audience to back me up. Maybe one day I'll get strong enough to back myself up, but until now, at least I know that this is something that I have to have. So at least I know myself well enough there. So yeah, that's mainly it. I need like things in place to stop, or I can start the reading by saying, if you want to talk to me afterwards, that's fine, but I won't take like critiques or questions during that, or won't ever take critiques. This is not a workshop. Yeah, it's fun. And yeah, I did complain to the Albacon people, and they just kind of blew it off. And I'm like, okay, you're okay with more than one person was doing this during my reading at Albacon. And it was very uncomfortable. And I did complain to the con people afterwards, and they're like, oh, they would have done that with anyone. I'm like, really? So if George R. R. Martin or Neil Gaiman had been your guest of honor, they would have sat in the room with him and questioned every single decision they made on their books. Yeah. So, yeah, I am naming the con. It's been several years. I don't know if it's the same people running it or not. It was a long time that I would not name the con, but it's been a long time. And yeah, I don't think I'm doing anything damaging, and I doubt anybody from there is listening. So that's all fun. So nobody has told me how to switch between mediums, and I'm just like, come on. Maybe I should channel my inner GRRM in readings. So I'll show up very late with a hat on and read from the thing that people don't care about, and not read from the thing that they do. I'm just kidding. I don't know how he runs his meetings or readings, not meetings, but I'm just punching up. But yeah, I think another friend of mine told me that whenever somebody offers critique during a live reading, just go, that's hilarious. You're critiquing as if we're in a workshop. That's funny. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if I can ever actually convey that amount of disdain. Like I said, I'm a people pleaser. I just, it's chronic. I hate it. But never got the wit to remember the nice snapbacks in the moment. Oh yeah, me too. That's why I'm glad my friend told me this outside of the moment. So hopefully I can remember it if it ever happens again, which I hope it doesn't, but we'll see. I've reduced my amount of live readings, and now there aren't any cons, so I don't have to worry about that. One good thing about the virtual cons I've been to has been that everything is, you can read the questions people send, and you can choose to ignore if you don't want to answer it, which is really, really nice, because you won't get hijacked by, oh, this is more of a comment than a question, but, and then they talk for 15 minutes. Speaking of changing mediums, can you talk about what it was like to write the virtual race? Yes, I loved it. I haven't written that many scripts, but I did do an audio drama in 2007. And that was a lot of fun. I think that dialogue is one of my strengths. So when I don't have to write all of the really tedious, the horribly tedious description and action, and I can just do dialogue, it's freeing. I'm not a cinephile, so I don't know if I could actually write scripts to be shot, because as it's one of those things where the more I learn about movies, the more I realize I don't understand anything. Like there was one time when we were watching a show, and the way the frame was shot, I'm like, that person's going to get hit by a car. And then the person got hit by a car, and I looked at my husband, and I'm like, how did I know that? What about the frame of that shot? Like, did I know? Also, like, people falling out of windows, that's also a very specific shot. It's a specific framing, and it's like I've gotten to where I can recognize when that stuff's happening, but I couldn't tell you how to do it. And I know that's all the director stuff, but you still have to have some sort of concept of how films go and how TV goes to write the scripts. But I got a chance to write a guest episode of Zombies Run several years ago, which was a lot of fun. And so I already had and I was a fan of Zombies Run, so I knew how they wanted things structured. It's a if you're unfamiliar with it, it's a narrative race where you put your headphones on and you start running, and every so often you get a different update to a story in which you are someone in the story and your job is to run. So in Zombies Run, you are a runner in the post-apocalyptic zombie world where the person in your ears can access enough cameras to say, oh, there are zombies to your east, to the east of you, so look out or pick up your speed or whatever. But there's a narrative to go along with it. But the most important thing that a lot of people don't apparently get is you have to end each story beat with an encouragement to run. You can't end the scene with let's hide in this closet. And so I wrote the guest bit of Zombies Run. I believe it's called Life Day. And the concept is they're trying to create a new holiday in the zombie apocalypse to actually celebrate something fun, because they've been celebrating an awful lot of memorials and, depressing holidays. And they wanted to, and they argue about Life Day being the Star Wars Christmas special reference throughout the race, or the run. The virtual race was interesting because it was a collaboration with Alistair Stewart, who is an excellent big picture writer. He does the big picture stuff. I do a lot of the little stuff. So he came up with like the backstory and the initial conflict of our characters, and I helped write up the characters, and I had a big part in the dialogue, and we both did the dialogue, but he was big picture and I was little picture. And but it being a running focused dialogue script, audio drama type script, it was awesome. I loved it. I think they might need to go inside, if you don't mind.
You sure?
Well, she's getting into trouble, yeah. Sorry, the dog is investigating things under the stairs, more looking like she wants to get into trouble. Sorry about that. But the race writing the race is a lot of fun. The most challenging thing actually is you need to write. The concept is you listen to a story beat, and then there's either silence or music. And then there's another story beat. And with the virtual races, there's usually a story beat every half kilometer to every kilometer. But there's some people that run so fast, we hate them. By we, I mean me, that they may run the kilometer before the story bit is done. And so they start getting, they'll finish the story before you even tell them that you're at the 4.5K mark. And so there's a very tight window in which you can write all your dialogue for the scene before the editor's going to say that needs to be shortened so the fast runners won't get ahead of the story. So that was the biggest problem, because I like dialogue and I like just running on and on and on with it. And it's a different challenge that I'd never come across before, because, how often do you time your writing by the speed of somebody running? But that's how they work their races. So it was a lot of fun. I love Zombies Run. I love Six to Start. They're great people. And yeah. Which creators I consider models in the medium I want to try? I guess this is a little embarrassing. But I've mentioned I started using the budgeting app, You Need a Budget, or YNAB. And they have so many tutorial videos, which has been really helpful because I was never a budgeting person and can't wrap my brain around different things regarding a budget. And so it took me a long time to actually, finally, I'm in my 40s, to understand this budget thing. And there are many, many videos help with that. And there's one, I don't know exactly how it works on their end, because they have a number of people. One person's like, clearly at a working desk. There's a computer and there's papers and there's stuff, and the lighting's not great. And then there's another woman who seems to go from either a living room or a kitchen. But then there's a third woman, or a third host, who has this completely clean backdrop, and she's got a table, and there's a plant on the table, and she brings like a cup of coffee with her, and then she sits in this like very clean area and talks to you about the budgeting software. And she's extremely charismatic. And one thing that's been funny about current events and Zoom and everything is how apparently people are judging their coworkers' backgrounds and all the everything around them. They're judging either their mess or their collections or whatever. I have a 6 or 10-inch tick from the old comics and animated series, The Tick. And I've had him 20 years now, something like that. And he's on a shelf behind my desk. And almost everybody who sees me when I'm at my desk will comment on it. And taking how she runs her videos made me kind of look for a clean area. And I have a green screen, but it's huge, and there's nowhere I can really set it up that, like, it's so big that I really don't want to put it up and take it down after I'm done filming. It's something I want to put up and leave. And so I haven't found a place to put that, but I decided to start filming in my dining room, which, as I said, I've since taken everything out of there. But that's my intent. But another person does, the person who made me start doing daily-ish I Should Be Writing episodes is a very funny, dry gaming YouTuber. Goes by the name of Dangerously Funny. And he does, when most gaming people are very into doing obnoxious things and screaming a lot, at least from what I've witnessed. Yes, I know I sound very old. I'm an old, leave me alone.
No, I agree with you.
Oh, you agree with me? Okay, good. A lot of screaming, a lot of swearing. This guy does very hysterically funny commentary, but is completely deadpan. And he swears, but very rarely. So, when someone rarely swears, it makes much more of an impact, and it's much funnier. So he at least encouraged me to do shorter episodes daily than longer episodes infrequently. I admit I have not done it yet, but I want to do, I want to look up the people who are filming like talk shows in Animal Crossing, because I finally found a Switch, a full-size Switch that was manufactured MSRP, manufactured suggested retail price. If you have looked at Switches lately, since the pandemic started, they've been going at $450 to $500 from scalpers. And every once in a while, Amazon will actually get some Switches in stock, and they'll put it up there for the $300 MSRP, and then scalpers will usually grab them and go off and inflate the price, in which, they're paving their way to hell. I know. I'm not even religious, and I know there's a hell for them. But I finally managed to find, I have a Switch Lite, but you can't stream with the Switch Lite. So I've actually been thinking about checking out the people who do the talk shows in Animal Crossing to see what that is all about, because that might be fun. I'm just trying to come up with more interesting things. I haven't seen anybody doing what I'm planning on doing, but I haven't been looking very closely. I'll be 100% honest with you. Really what I want to do right now is a sort of emergency hotline, imposter police, fraud police type video where somebody comes to me with a problem, usually involving imposter syndrome or something, and I'll be the hotline to fix it. That's the concept I have. But yeah, that's kind of, those are my inspirations. I want to do something interesting with games. The woman who does the YNAB videos that are actually entertaining, she's very funny. She also is a kind of a deadpan, humorous person, and dangerously funny on YouTube. His what is it? Dang it. Stardew Valley. Sorry, I keep thinking Animal Crossing in my head. His Stardew Valley videos are what, I think that's what made him get to where he is today. I'm actually not enjoying the games he's doing now because I don't play the games and don't identify with them. But he can only do so much Stardew Valley stuff as long as there's new Stardew Valley content, which does not come out very often. But it's been on my to-do list to open a Twitch stream and do more Stardew Valley there, and maybe rope in Stardew Valley and writing at the same time, because why not? We're under quarantine. It's time to get that feeling of 2005 and just make whatever the hell you want to when you want to. I've mentioned several times that that's what I miss from that. I don't know if people like Christian and Grant still feel this, because they were creating back then as well, but it felt like it was easier just to come up with weird stuff and make it. And now I put too many stops on myself. Imposter syndrome police sounds great. Thank you. That's better at my imposter syndrome fixing. So that helps my own imposter syndrome. Thank you. But this more felt like that weird thing I wanted to do, and I would just do it. I wasn't going to hang a lantern on this, but I do want to acknowledge that the consistency has been a problem for me, because I've been doing this for almost 15 years. It'll be 15 years in August. This podcast will be 15 years old. And in 15 years, I should have more than 500 episodes, and I don't. So that's, hitting 500 is sort of making me have a sort of reckoning of priorities and consistency and all that. And I think if I just, it's a weird thing where if you want something done and you ask somebody who has 2 things to do, they'll probably put it off. If you want something done and you've got somebody with 30 things to do, they'll fit it in because they're already doing 30 things, and they'll probably just know how to slot it into their day.
Alternatively, they'll do it because they don't want to do the other 30 things.
Yes, I don't know if you guys heard that, but as Fiona says, alternatively, they'll do it because they don't want to do the other 30 things. But a lot of people think that they want free time to write. And I've said this before on the show, you guys have heard it, but it's if you have 8 hours, you're not going to write for 8 hours. You're going to waste time for 7.5 and then think, oh, well, I've only got 30 minutes. I'm not going to write in that 30 minutes. I might as well go start some laundry or start dinner or whatever. But if you have 30 minutes to write, you will write in those 30 minutes because you know that's all you have. So along the same lines, I am going somewhere with this. When I was trying to do a weekly podcast, I would try to do, schedule it once a week. And I don't feel like recording today. I'll record tomorrow. Or I was going to record in the morning, but that didn't work out. So I'll record in the evening, and it kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed. But when my goal was to do short episodes, sort of daily, it just became one of my daily things to do. And it's weird that it's easier to do more frequent, shorter episodes than longer, infrequent episodes. So I'm hoping to, health willing, continue doing more audio stuff Tuesday through Friday, and then a live crowdcast on Monday. And then do the imposter syndrome police stuff. I don't know how often I'm going to do this. I don't know if I'm going to record a whole bunch at a time and put them up one by one, or do them weekly or whatever. I'm still working on that. You going to tell me how to do that?
Sure.
Yeah. Sienna's helping me manage my time a little bit. Also playing with ants.
Oh, that's another thing.
Oh, another bug. Okay. So that's my... Yeah. Yeah, Christiana says, the thing with early in podcasting, it was the Wild West. Yeah. We were pioneers making a path through the brush, and if the path led off a cliff, well, you just turn around and go back and pick another path. Whereas now, if you fall off the cliff, it feels like much more of a failure. For me, anyway. And there was less noise to rise above. That is absolutely true. Expectations were lower, and there was less noise. So before, it was, when is anyone famous going to actually ever hear of podcasting? And now it's, will anyone ever listen to me above the noise of all the famous podcasters who were famous to begin with? So it's kind of a, sorry, earthquake. Yeah, project didn't have to be a big deal, and now it feels like there's more stress, more expectation of something being a big deal. More pressure. What?
Ants.
What?
More ants.
More ants, yes. That is the downside to recording outside, ants. And more ants. This is why we need them citronella candle things. Yeah. Let's see. I answered the question about changing mediums in the virtual race. Anything else anybody wants me to talk about moving forward to the next 500, or problems you're having with your own projects or your own motivation during this really, really dreadful time in our history? When you're done, when all this calms down, what would you like to say you did during the times of COVID? I think I'd like to say I did some video, got more comfortable with it. It'd be nice. Martin's here. Congratulations on 500 episodes. Thank you, Martin. Thank you for saying hi. But yeah, I think I would like to think that I finished my book, and I got comfortable with video. I don't like... this always feels like fishing, so it's not. So please don't think it is. But you know how a lot of people say that they don't like the way they sound on podcasts, and that's always stopped them. And I'm like, nobody likes it. Just move on. If other people like to listen, they're the reasons you're recording, not your own hangups. I have that problem with video. I don't like watching this. I don't like watching the face, and I don't like any of that. And then what's better is you even get to edit it, which is great. So that's part of like getting over myself, because I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for you guys. And if you tune in and you watch and you enjoy, then what do I care? Jamie's on Zoom all the time now and getting better about being on video, but it's still not pleasant. Yes. Isn't it so weird to hear your own voice? Throws me off every time I hear a recording. Yes, exactly. It's nobody likes the sound of their own voice. It's a very strange thing. Yeah, I've yet to find somebody who likes the way they sound recorded and don't like the way they sound in their head, which is probably good, because you hear yourself a lot more, even if you're super famous, in your own head than when you're recording. Christian, I missed your question. How do you push past the moments where you don't like what you've drafted? You look at your deadline. I think Cory Doctorow told me at Bible Paradise that if you write every day, and I know there are other reasons not to write every day. I know some people have problems with writing every day. This is not you must write every day. But the thing about writing every day is you write when you feel good and you write when you don't feel good. And you write when you're inspired and you write when you're not inspired. And once you bring it all together and look at it, you probably can't tell the days where you were feeling crappy and uninspired and feeling great and inspired. And when you think you've drafted crap, that's when you need to trust yourself that your experience in doing this means it's probably better than you think. And this is for people who are maybe not complete beginners, but the way I do it is like, okay, I've written books and stories that people have liked that hang together. I can do this. So even if I sit down and write something I think is absolute dreck, I'm going to think, I showed up. I did my part. I'm going to trust that whatever invisible writing muscle inside my head that I've been working on for 20 years, I'm going to trust that it did its part. And hopefully when I go back, get some distance and then go back to it, I won't think it's so bad. So, anything anybody else wants to... here we go. Murray, you were my first podcaster and still my favorite. Thank you. Congratulations on 500. How should I choose which cons to attend on a limited budget? Well, right now it's super easy because they're all virtual. They still will be charging because all of this takes money. I mean, all the software they're using for these virtual cons takes money. And but when things get back to normal, there are many things out there. I don't know. It's like you decide by figuring out what you want out of the con. If you want to meet your favorite author, look at the cons they're going to. If you want to do a workshop with someone you admire, see what those cons are. But honestly, starting out, I would say look at what's near you. Get a sense of what a convention is, get a sense of what's going on near you, and start working that way. I mean, the first con I ever attended was a tiny, terrible little con in High Point, North Carolina, where there were some Babylon 5 actors scheduled to show up. And that's all I remember was seeing the Babylon 5 people and thinking, overall, this con's pretty crappy. But oh well. I got to see someone famous, and that was really exciting. So start with, especially if the budget's limited, start with whatever's near you. If you don't have anything right near you, go for a city that is near you. And if you have a friend in the city, maybe you can crash with them, or get a cheap hotel for like a Friday night. Show up Friday night, spend as much time as you can on Saturday, then go home. For your actual working, if you're working on your career, then you're going to want to look and see where the pros are going. For me, that's Worldcon, ReaderCon, World Fantasy, kind of Confusion, and BosCon. Almost any con in Boston seems to be the place to go for writers wanting to network. My daughter's going to school in Boston. She's all thumbs up to that. if she goes to school, which pandemic, yay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring you down. I'm sorry. Yes, Christiana, you should go to more of those, especially since we'll be going to more just to go up and see our child. But yeah, the also, follow, if you have writers that you admire, like on a professional level, not just on a reader level, find out where they're going. Because sometimes a conversation you will have at the bar at 10 p.m. will affect your career more than a workshop you do at a big con. It's like, you never know. I've talked about networking at cons, like putting drops in a bucket. You never know which one's going to make it fill up and overflow, but you know that putting water in is the goal. And yes, I talked about my horrible guest of honor experience at one con, but many more cons than that one have benefited my career. So, yeah, highly recommend conventions when they come back. I was just found out that the guest of honor gig I had at Mile High Con this October is canceled. Well, it's a virtual con now, and I'm pretty bummed about that. I was looking forward to going to Colorado. Never been. Connie Willis lives there. Was hoping to see her. But that was canceled, so now it's a virtual con. Oh yeah, and Cory Doctorow and Rebecca Roanhorse were supposed to be guests of honor as well, and that's fun. But now I'm just whining about my own problems. But congrats on 500, and thanks for all the great content. Been listening since the early days. Awesome. Thank you for doing this. I have to get running, get back to work. Thank you for dropping by, Todd. Thank you for the wink and nod about that one person who shall remain nameless, but screw that guy. But yeah. But yeah, I still think conventions are excellent. I think just look local to you. Look at where people you admire are going. Figure out a budget. Try to go to one. Oh, the Nebula. The Nebula is also a good networking convention, especially since I can't remember who did it. Sarah Pinsker and Kellen Spera, and who just got the award at the Nebulas for service for the mentorship. I can't remember. I'm embarrassed now. Anyway, somebody recently set up the whole mentorship program at the Nebulas. So you get paired with somebody from SIFWA, and they work with you for a couple of months. That was set up at the Nebulas, and it's a great program. So you can get a lot out of it. So count the Nebulas among the pro cons to go to. Nebulas, World Fantasy, and Worldcon all move around. The Nebulas move, I believe they do one location for 2 years, and then they move on. Last year and this year, well, in theory, they were in LA. And next year, someone help me out here. Anybody know where the Nebulas are next year? Well, we can Google it. We can find out. So when cons come back, that's an option. Yeah. I think we're coming up on an hour here. Is there anything else anybody would like to ask? And if not, I will go ahead and bid you goodbye and go inside and get more water because it's hot out here. I really like doing the outside thing with the nice trees in the background and all that, but dang, it's hot. It's yay summer. It's here officially now. The scenery is nice. That's another reason. Scenery and the birds and Just hoping the dogs don't get too rambunctious, but that's why I have my trusty assistant / dog wrangler with me. Also to tell me not to say yeet. No trees in the city. Yeah, I'm in the suburbs. There's no culture here. So 6 of one, half dozen the other. So yeah, if there aren't any more questions, I think the suburbs have me. Thank you. I don't really share culture with anybody though. So it's not like
culture we have is the guy who likes cars next door, freaks out the dogs.
Yes, there's the guy who's got his Porsche next door and freaks out the dogs when he has people over to work on cars together. It's a whole car thing. I don't know. I don't think that's culture. No. Anyway, but thank you guys for being here with me. Thank you for those of you who've been supporting me and listening for over a decade now. It's humbling and it keeps me going, really. And yes, Christiana, I miss you. Hopefully we'll see more of you when we go up to visit the child in Boston. And thank you to all of my fellow creators who have helped me out through the years. Christiana and Grant and a lot of other people. But couldn't do it without you guys and without the listeners and audience. So thank you. I hopefully will come back live next Monday. And hopefully we'll have some audio for you tomorrow. But yeah. Till then, signing off. Thank you guys very much. Yay 500. And we'll just keep doing more awesome things. So, goodbye.
Hi, I'm Elle Penelope, and I'm an author of epic fantasy and paranormal romance, and also the host of My Imaginary Friends, which is part of the Frolic Podcast Network. On my show, you'll get a weekly look behind the scenes of an author navigating the publishing world, as well as thoughts and tips on creativity, inspiration, writing routines, and more. So if you're an established or an aspiring writer, or a reader who always wanted a peek into an author's life, you can find me at myimaginaryfriendsshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Remember, you can support the show at patreon.com/mightymur. I should be writing theme music provided by John Anelio. You can find more about him at johnanelio.com. This podcast is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike license.